Hello and welcome to Season of War. We're excited to have you guys. Thank you everyone who's joined us tonight. I'm Jordan, obviously one of your commentators tonight, joined by Ridge again. Ridge, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, brother. Just working on some Source Nights and finished up Carl's Globe, so doing a little hobby, but yeah, excited to
Nice.
commentate some more games.
Yep. And this is round 3 of the Grand Clash. So we were over in Quebec, Shawinigan specifically, a couple weekends ago for the Grand Clash GT. This is actually the biggest GT in Canada for AOS, probably ever. Definitely in AOS 3. It was 116 players was the final count, and yeah, it was an awesome event. Great community out there in Quebec. This is the second year we as a team have gone, so always love going out there, but definitely a blast of an event and was a great time for everyone.
Yeah, we talked about it Monday. This is one that we look forward to every year. It's so fun, just everything about it, not just the event, but just the culture, going to Quebec, the food, the people, like it's just everything. So yeah, just so fun.
Yeah, no, definitely an awesome time out there. So for this round 3 matchup, our players are in deployment right now. The mission is Feral Foray. So as you see, we got the 6 objectives, 3 in each territory. Territories are up to half. And it's just the normal hold 1, hold 2, hold more storing with battle tactics and grand strategies. And then the only interesting twist on this mission is from the second battle round on, each player can burn 1 of their opponent's objectives per turn if, I believe this is if they're within 1 inch of the center of it and controlling it. So, or an extra point each round. So, rounds 3, 4, 5, you can burn, get an extra point, or round 2 as well. But definitely the interesting thing is you don't want to deny yourself or considering hold 1, hold 2, hold more in the future turns. You don't want to take an objective that you were going to hold securely.
Yeah, it's a bit of a quick maths scenario. You got to kind of see if it's going to affect you holding more, then you might want to keep it around. But then you also don't want it to get taken by your opponent. So it's always like it's one of those things. If once you play the mission more and more, you get better at kind of realizing which ones you should do.
For sure. And our players tonight are Danique G. He's playing Seraphon Thunder Lizards, and against Mitch K, our good buddy from our local area, one of the Ontario crew going out there for the event. We've seen this list on the channel a couple times before, so why don't we start off with the with the Seraphon list, Danique's list, if you want to take us through that, Bridge.
Yeah. This is Danique Gagne. He's a known player in the Quebec scene. Super funny guy. I'm pretty sure he's the one that wears the dinosaur costume around. It's got it's like a onesie with a.
He did it last year as well.
Yeah, so just hilarious. He did well last year too, so he's done well in these tournaments. His list is pretty similar to what we saw with Patrick. So it's your classic Thunder Lizard build. So it's got the Skink Chief on Staggy, Prime War Beast. So it's also the General with Cloak of Feathers. So that thing just hits like a truck. And then he's got the Engine of the Gods with the Incandescent Rectrices, so similar to the other one as well, that on a 4-up it can come back with Curse, as you do. Then he's got a Slan, Star Master, a Star Priest, 2 Skink Priests, so classic hero loadout. And then he's got 30 Skinks, 20 Skinks, and 10 Skinks. So this is a bit more of a Skink-heavy build than some of the other ones you see. And then he's got a cheeky 5 Chameleon Skinks, which it's really good in Thunder Lizards, obviously not having any teleport or deep strike or kind of the movement. And then a Bastiladon with Solar Engine and the Life Swarm. So Life Swarm's going to help with the Skinks as well. And just healing up the big dinos. So yeah, it's a good list right on 2,000.
Yep. Yeah, it's squeaking every point in there, Seraphon. You have so many units and at different points of values that it's a lot easier to hit that 2,000 point cap.
Yeah, there's so many units to choose from.
and there's some obviously great options, and there's so many synergies. You want so many of the little heroes where you really try and you don't want to go 30, 60 points under as much with Seraphon because you can really utilize those points.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends. The Triumph is still just so good. There's certain units that utilize it better.
Yeah.
But even there's a lot of units in this that still do. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, makes sense.
So we are done deployment though. We're actually in the pre-game move for Nurgle, where Mitch is getting to move all his Pastorials 8 inches, or the normal movement. And that is before we choose who goes first. And Mitch is a 1-drop using the battalion from the Nurgle Tomes. It's one of their unique core battalions. And so he was a 1-drop. Danique was a ton. I'm sure he had 2 warlords and hunters. Yeah. And that's going to give Mitch first turn, or choice of first turn. So he will have the option. Obviously, we can see him right now, pushing all those flies, towards the center, getting that movement. But he is tagging all 3 of his own objectives still, so he will start the game in control of them.
Yeah, you got to remember to do that. That's something with the pregame move. You don't want to move off your points. But yeah, we've seen this classic with the flies. This has been on the channel a few times. I think people have seen a lot more Nurgle with Puskoils. Yeah. It's just so powerful. And in these situations, if you haven't played against it, or deployment is so important against this. But yeah.
And so Mitch has taken first turn, so we will see Nurgle going first here. But I do want to note, for Danique on his side, he does have a bunch of heroes in his temple, which his temple looks super customized, as well as a bunch of his army. So the temple is on the top right side of the board, between the 2 objectives at the top. So that's where his temple is, and his Slan, Star Priest, and both of his priests are in there in the temple, hiding out, staying safe.
Yeah, no shooting here, so nothing really to worry about. It's not always one nice thing about playing these fly lists or lists like this is that you don't have to worry about your heroes. Like, you don't have to worry about any shooting, so you can kind of play a bit looser with where you're positioning stuff with that.
Yeah. Otherwise, just to point out some of the units, so Danique has the 20 block of skinks right in front as a screen right now. There's a 30 block of skinks in behind. There's 10 off to the left side towards the center of the board, behind that tree in the center. On the left side of his temple is the Engine of the Gods, and on the right side of his temple is the Bastiladon, and then Statodon with Skink Chief. So, again, a lot of the staples that we're used to, but it's, we'll see.
It's hard to deploy against this, is what I was going to say. It's like, you really, really have to know how far these bugs can go. So with that pregame move, they're moving 16. So I'm sure he's measured, the screen there, but it does look like they're a little close. Obviously it depends on charges and those types of things. And you don't want to completely stay really far away.
No, we saw we saw that last time, where Mike Grove gave up too much of the board early and then just couldn't get towards the center points. Obviously, it's different here because there are no center points. So, if Mitch, taking first turn, assuming he's gonna, be the aggressor here, he can keep the fighting in Danique's territory. That's not great for a Thunder Lizard Seraphon list, right?
No, you have to know that he's within this situation, because it's a shorter deployment as well. He's gonna look for this pin like immediately. And we see it here, like he took broken ranks on the 20 skink, so you clearly know he's gonna be doing with these bugs. It's it's one of those lists that's like, people always say it's boring and it's this and this, but it's a strong list in the meta right now, so you have to be prepared for this type of thing, and kind of think of of ways around it, or what you can do, because there are ways still to beat these Puskoil Blightlord lists and things like this. But
Yep. And otherwise, worth noting, so we are in the movement phase, but in the hero phase, we did see the Nurgle wheel start, or the Cycle of Corruption start on number 4, which is Plight of Misery.
So good.
So that's no heroic actions, and heroes cannot issue Inspiring Presence or Rally commands.
Yeah, that's more good just because 4 is the best to start on, because then you get 5 and 6 in turns 2 and 3, which are the best ones. So it's great when you can roll the 4 or a 5 to start.
Yep. And we did see Nurgle also generate 5 contagion points for summoning, so good start. And obviously with the territories here, he'll be able to have stuff in both territories potentially next turn.
Oh yeah, he's going to definitely be generating a lot of contagion throughout this.
Yep. But yeah, Nurgle movement phase, obviously we're seeing a lot of aggression coming out from those Blight Lords.
Yes, big time.
We did have Davis in the chat asking about how to get onto the Discord. If you are a premium member, which Davis is, You can find a link. There should be a link in the description of this video. If you scroll down in the bottom, look through all of that, there should be a link to the Discord down there. But otherwise, if not, just comment and we'll get back to you and make sure you find the link. Find your way there.
Yeah. And Lord Billy asked me, Source Knights, Ridge, did you lose a bet? No, I did not lose a bet. I'm playing some Coda's Claw, so I've got a bunch of the Source Warriors already done. I got some other ones getting printed up from Clavy's Creations, which I'm pumped for, but I'm just using some of the old ones because I'm playing in the Motor City, whatever, in Michigan there next weekend. Is it next weekend? Yeah, it's not this weekend, but next weekend. So got some Source Knights. They fucking slap, man. They got 7 attacks each. Give them that little Star Priest buff. They can do some work for sure.
Nice. Well, we are into charges, and we've seen the first Lord of Afflictions make the charge here into the Stinks. And the big thing that's scary for these bugs is the impact hits, right?
Yeah, so many mortals.
Well, unfortunately, Mitch failed the first one, so commentator's curse, we'll call that.
Yep, and there's his big charge, and that does not look like a nice thing. Oh, God. Yeah, because looks like 2 6s.
Oh, yeah.
So this is one thing with Mitch too. We always will chat about like his charges are always just so good. Like he plays an army like this that you sometimes need 8s, 9s, and oh man.
Well, here it looks like the Pust Oil. So it's a unit of 4. Did make a 12-inch charge, and while they only needed a 3 or 4 to get in, it looks like this is going to let Mitch get a couple of them over, maybe the whole unit. That's not what anyone wants to see.
No. And especially when you're playing this is with the...
Well, it's like...
There's not much to say about it. It's like, this is, getting a 12-inch charge with these types of units. You have to, like, how do you screen against that? You either have to keep your screen way far out, like fully to the 13, and then everything really far back. But a 12 would still possibly get to stuff,
And even he does have a bunch of skinks staggered in behind of that line.
Yeah.
But just, a little too much space. Like, it's either too much space or not enough space, right? Yeah. And it looks like he has tagged he'll be tagging and doing impact hits to every unit within 1 inch of each Pust Oil. So it looks like the one tagged, or they're all tagged in 2 units of skinks between the different units. But I was going to say though, like armies like this, like Sons of Behemoth, it's like, you just have to be prepared for it in one way or another, right? Like, whether it's screens or speed or shooting, or like, you just gotta accept that there's gonna be armies out there that just want to rush forward and get into you and smash, and you gotta have an answer to it. And that's actually something Thunder Lizard struggles with because they don't have the movement we used to see in when Starborn was more popular.
Yeah, that's one of them for sure. There are a lot of other things that you can kind of do, or like other tools they can use. But again, here it's like that he's going to be outside 3 pretty much. So you either have to play really far back, and this one it's okay because you could tag your own objectives still at the very bottom. But again, that 12-inch charge, that means no matter what, these flies would have went 8, so 16 plus 12, so they would have you'd have to be 28 inches if you want to stay outside of 12, which is just madness.
Yeah. So that unit of Pust Oils, that unit of 4 has dealt 3 mortal wounds to the skinks in the back left, so there's 10 skinks, 5 mortal wounds to the 30 block in behind, by the temple, and 2 mortal wounds to the 20 block in front that's screening. So it's 10 mortal wounds from the charge, from those 4 Pust Oils alone.
1 unit, yeah.
1 unit.
Gross.
1 unit of 4, yeah. That's definitely scary.
Yeah.
That's where, you almost want to really limit the frontage of your army that you're exposing, right?
Yeah,
Here there's the one tree and the temple, but if you could, I know, Ridge, you like to put your temple on the front line a lot and use it just to block space.
Yeah, Yeah, so with that, that's because you don't against Nurgle. So this is what I've at least learned, or I played Nurgle as well. So against them, you don't care about the temple doing D3 mortal wounds to a couple units of bugs. They have a 5-up ward anyways, so you don't like doing chip damage, especially with Comet and stuff. Like this is not the matchup you care about that stuff. So yeah, if he had putting the temple kind of on the line, I often will use it as just a blocking piece because it's garrisonable. So you can put that there, put your screens on either side, or put it, wherever you're going to be putting it. So exactly, you can't get as many models in.
Well,
But
yeah,
that's something, it's something you have to.
you have if you haven't played
get used
against
to
it, yeah, if you haven't played like any army, right? They all have their tricks. So if you're experiencing something for the first time, it's hard to predict everything. But having played Mitch a couple times with this list, and
Yeah.
it's like if you can just minimize the frontage of, if you only give room for let's say 2 or 3 units of bugs to get in at a time, or at least on that turn 1 charge, that can be super handy. But yeah, when it's we'll see. I thought it was a little risky going for the broken ranks, but seeing how much stuff is getting in at this point.
Yeah, and they're all they must be. Oh no, these ones are Moonstone because they're 20, so they're 6-up save. So this is going to be no save, and it's going to be all these attacks. There's well, unless he does all the defense, he'll have 6-ups. But
half the bugs are no rend, so the riders are rend 1, but
yeah, it's a lot of attacks. So I'm sure it would. But I was going to say, just to add on to that, like the temple thing, you build for builds like, say, like Maw Crushers. Like a classic example was you need to have screens, because some of the lists I would play didn't have, say, like 1 or 2 units of 10 skinks. I would have a 30 and a 20 or something like that. And you need those like units of 10 skinks just for Maw Crushers, these alpha armies that you can just kind of use those. Yeah, or even having like an example of my last list. Like I kept a Source Guard in, not because I didn't play Lumineth or Dock or any shooting army, but I just did, just in case you get those matchups. Like in case I was going to fight Maw Crushers, then yeah, you want to have those screens and you want to kind of deploy your temple, and it's it's just like a kind of tools thing. But
yep. So we are.
I don't know if I'm just rambling on, but
no, it makes sense. No, it's all good information.
Hopefully it helps someone that is listening.
Well, going through the charge phase, we did see the Lord of Afflictions had to use a command point for Forward to Victory. He did make the charge, but then failed the impact. We saw 2 mortal wounds to the front 20 stinks from the 2 bust royals kind of in the center there. And then the 2 more pust royals just actually made a big charge over the front screen again. And they've dealt 2 mortal wounds to the back 30 skinks and 4 mortal wounds to the front 20. So, man, we're like nearing 20 mortal wounds at this point. I think we're on 18.
Yeah,
18 mortal wounds on impact so far.
It's just, if you can roll some decent charges, it's just so much. And now it's already starting the disease game of tying up all these things, and everything's going to start with disease. And yeah, so this is going to be interesting what he's going to kind of target priority wise. Like what do you kind of do? Because you want to try to segregate them and just destroy one half, or like as many as you can, and concentrate. But with this many bugs in your face, like what, you can't really concentrate too much. They're everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, it is scary. So we just went for a charge on those last 2 pust royals on the right. It looks like they failed. I think the players are just discussing, because Mitch does have the triumph here, and he did take Bloodthirsty. I'm not sure if he's just thinking of using that, but I mean, he's got enough bugs as it is to make a mess of things. But
yeah, that's like a kind of little gem to have in this list. 1960 taking Bloodthirsty. That's kind of like with OBR. Like it's a good chance you're going to get that, and it helps this list because, like we just said, so much charging.
Yeah. And he's already used Forward to Victory, but because this isn't a command ability or anything, he can do it for free. But he just
rolled it into Snake Eyes.
Yeah, so failed the charge. So used the triumph, but no success there. But again, we've already got 10 pust royals in combat right now, including two of which are Blight Lords, or Lords of Affliction. Sorry. So
Yeah, I know with Mitch's, they're tough to. I don't know if he's changed anything, but when I played him it was I think over a month ago. I usually put like, or you see a lot of people like change the base or like change the bug. I know he has some way to tell which one's which, but I wouldn't be able to tell on camera.
for um
Lord of Afflictions.
oh yeah, I'm not too sure. I know you can tell from the weapons in playing Mitch,
Yeah.
but hard to tell from the top down. You can see there's two Lords of Affliction, the two single ones that are kind of miscolored. They're both tagging the bottom of that center objective. That's where the two Lords of Affliction are. The one on the left I know is the general, and the one on the right is just the base one.
Gotcha.
But it looks like there's enough bugs.
Yeah.
But we've seen so monstrous actions. It does look like a bunch of the Seraphon monsters are tagged in combat. The Engine of the Gods on the left failed to roar the 4 Pustoils. And the Sneak Chief on the right did stomp the Blight Lords, dealing just 1 mortal wound.
Oh, so the engine is within 3. It doesn't look like it from here, but I guess.
Well, there is that one Pustoil up on the left under the tree, right? You can only see 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He must be within 3 then.
Yeah. So that looks like it's the only way that he was able to get in there. So still at the start of the combat phase, the Stink Chief has used Coordinated Strike on himself for +1 attack. So the command ability on his War Scroll. So usually see that on the Skinks, but...
Interesting. Yeah, it is really good in Skinks. It's good on himself too, just give another attack. So in these situations, I don't know. It's always in between if you do all-out attack here, because hitting on 2s might be better than just 1 extra stomp, 1 extra horn, and 1 extra.
A little more reliability.
I think mathematically it might be, but I don't. That's like a quick math you got to kind of do.
Yeah.
But having with the other extra attacks, and if you can get off the the Herald the Old Ones for +1 to hit, that's where you really start to see the. And Best Day Ever, that's where you really start to see this King Chief and the engine starting to pump out like some just ridiculous damage.
Yep.
Morning, Nick. Nick must be from Australia, I imagine. Morning, all.
Yep. It's evening over here, so wherever you're joining from, appreciate everyone joining us live tonight. And if you're watching this back in the future, we also appreciate you as well. So shout out in the comments. But thank you to everyone for joining. And I guess we haven't done it yet, so gotta do the especially big thank you to all our premium members. We've got a bunch in the chat tonight watching this live, so thank you all you guys so much for joining and helping, not helping, but being the one supporting the channel, making all the content possible. All our public content is only thanks to you guys, as well as the exclusive battle reports you guys get every week. So thank you so much for making all this content possible. We look forward to bringing you more in the future.
Yes, we do.
And hopefully we'll see some good action here tonight, but it looks like Mitch went with the two Blight Lords on the right first, the 2 that are tagging the Stink Chief, and they dealt 12 damage to finish off that the screening unit of 20 Skinks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's going to free everything else up to potentially pile in and, kill other stuff, which is scary. Also, I think a good choice for Mitch to go with those first 2 on the right there, because the Stink Chief, obviously, he can do a bunch of damage. So if he was able to take one of them out first, just safer.
It's also smart by Danik to do that, because he has probably a good feeling that Mitch is going to go with those right ones so that he can pile in the middle ones into the Skinks after. So he knows that the Skinks aren't going to lose a bunch of models before they're going to get to attack. Because the 4-pack obviously is going to go into them, but...
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many activations. This is where you do have to... It is a skill to think about, what you're going to attack with and, which ones... Yeah, which that's something... that some people take for granted, right? Until it happens, then you're like, oh shit, then if I pile this guy in, I'm bringing this unit in, or if I pile this in, I'm getting it within 3 of these guys, then he can now pile in and then hit a different unit. Like there's so many little things that you can do with activations.
For sure. And so Danik is activating that unit of 30 stinks. We saw him piling in. He has used all out of attack from the stink chief onto those stinks, so that's maybe one reason to go for a coordinated strike earlier. Lets him just duplicate or use abilities on 2 units. So hopefully these stinks can stand up for themselves a little bit.
They're 4s and 4s, so I wonder why he wanted to go for 3s and 4s on the skinks instead of having an extra attack on all of them. So if there was over 15, I don't know. I don't know the math on that, but I think it would have been better to do the coordinating strike on the skinks and then the all-out attack on the stag. But
could be. We'll see how it turns out. Kyle Norman saying he's building Leviathan tonight while he's watching. Well, Kyle, I love to hear it. Obviously, love the IDK. It's long time been one of my favorite armies. Definitely my favorite army, but love all elves. But yeah, happy to hear it. Happy we can entertain you guys tonight. And our own Zach Aarons asks, Ridge, can you unleash hell with the engine of the gods?
I thought, it's not even trolling me. You can, Zach, but it's just 4 attacks, 5s and 4s. So it'd be 4 attacks, 6s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage. If you want to do that.
But you wouldn't be able to use the I don't know if
the engine,
the cosmic engine. Yeah, which because that's an ability, there's no weapon profile for it. So it's not technically a shooting attack.
Oh, the something. Yeah, no, you can't. No, because it's an ability. It's not technically a shooting attack. And it's also why Jordan loves it, and it can kill his Achillean king because it's not a shooting attack, so you don't have to shoot the closest thing.
Yep. We all saw that on the channel. It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Yep. Joel McGrath says this fly list is pretty oppressive, or is so oppressive. Great matchup against Seraphon. How many Basties? Just 1 Bastie in the Seraphon army. But yeah, I agree. This list can be a lot of trouble for a lot of armies. Right? Like Sons of Behemoth, there are a lot of things that just can't deal with so much beef or bugs up in your face very fast.
Yep.
And yeah, with the 16-inch move turn 1 plus charging, and the option of being in a 1-drop. This is a very oppressive list, and a good a good counter to the Thunder Lizards actually.
Yeah, it is. I've played it a few times now, and once you play it a few times and know what it does, you get a bit better, like with strategy and everything. But like we said, in this game, all of that goes out the window because you roll a 12-inch charge on the 4 bugs. Yeah. So and it's like you still can have those rolls or lucky or those types of things happening. And no matter what you do, it's like, it hurts. But
well, it did. So those stinks did fight. They only dealt 4 damage to the 4 Pustoils on the left, or towards in the center on the center objective, and 1 damage to the 2 Blight Lords on the right. And now we saw 2 Pustoils pile into those 30 stinks as well. Only 1 getting into combat, and just dealt 7 damage to those 30 stinks. So those 30 stinks, it looks like, are already at only half health, or half the models left. So with the 4 Pustoils still yet to activate.
Yeah, and once they have 16 left, so they're still at the magic number. So once you get under 15, they really lose output because they have to have 15 or more models. They get +1 attack.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that we might be under that 15 mark after the 4 Pustoils activate.
Oh yeah, the 4 haven't even went yet,
no,
eh?
No.
I thought you activated with them first.
No, it was the 2 on the right first. Just protecting himself from the stink chief, I assume.
Yeah, I guess he's not really worried about the skinks because they don't have any buffs. So, yeah, that's when the skinks really, that's when they really shine, is when you get the +1 to hit and the reroll 1s to hit and the 6 is doing extra mortal, blah, blah, all the fun stuff.
If you are looking for the lists, as C-Dude is in the chat, you can find them in the video description. I just threw it in there, though, so you may have to refresh your page to find the link. But if you do that, you hit the link, follow it to Twitter, and you'll see both the lists posted up there. Not too complicated on the Nurgle side. We haven't actually gone through it yet at all, so...
I was just going to say, I can probably go through it in about
I think we all have this list memorized now.
Yeah, it's the Lord of Afflictions with the overpowering stench and the Splithorn Helm, and then another Lord of Afflictions, and then a unit of 4 Pusco Blight Lords and 5 units of 2 Pusco Blight Lords, all wrapped up in the Rotbringer Cyst. I
Yeah.
think, is that it? I don't have it in front of me.
That's perfectly correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a 1-drop battalion. Grand strategy is hold the line because all those Blight Lords are battle line, and as we already know, he's got the Bloodthirsty Triumph. So
Yeah, which is
good
nice. Yeah,
little list for sure.
you do see lots of cool different iterations of it as well. Running Be'lakor. I know I played that in my game 4, was super cool, and I know Mike Vaginos is running that. And, I like that one because you can kind of shut down a unit and it's a bit more diversity. You can run it with the Guo, with some Plague Bears. You can run it with. There's just so many. That's what I love. The new Nurgle book is great because there's just so many other different lists you can run and so many other viable units.
Yeah. Just before, I want to follow up to that point, but the Stink Chief did just activate against those 2 Blight Lords. They used all out defense, but the Blight Lords still managed to take one of them down, it looks like. So we're dealt 6 damage, so finished one off exactly after those Stinks dealt a wound or 2, I believe. So,
yeah, only 1 rend and the 5-up ward. It's still it's
very dicey.
Rough. Yeah.
But just your point about the Nurgle book, I think many of the new books have so much great internal balance. You look at Nurgle, I think it's a prime example of almost any of those war scrolls, any of the core units. Not any, most of the core units are very solid war scrolls, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing in Mitch, you could there's probably 5 different lists you could spam one primary unit of in Nurgle and make a solid list out of it. We're seeing that example here, but there's that route where you can go heavy into one aspect of the army or the book, whereas there's other ways to play it. Like we were talking about with Carl, who's got a more balanced list. He's got bugs. He's got what are they called? The ugly guys. I mean, they're all gross and ugly. The 2 wound guys.
Who's that?
Just the normal troop in Nurgle. What are they called?
The Blakings?
No, the other ones, the demons.
Oh, Plague Bears.
Plague Bears, that's the one. Yeah. So, you know me, I always like, balanced lists, mixed arms.
Yeah.
Have more answers. But there's, something to be said, obviously, as well, of, just having something that's so good at one thing. And if you're, especially if you're playing into a good meta, we've talked about, LVO, where Levon with his Soulblight list, played, with the meta in mind, or wrote a list with the meta in mind and did extremely well with it. So if you can build something that's going to counter lots of top armies, it's, being one-dimensional isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, then you do that, and then you play a list that is not that meta list, and it smashes you. That's why
that's the risk.
Biggest rule about big tournaments is like we always say, is your Sunday is just, it comes to pairings. A lot of the time it comes down to getting good pairings. You can be the best player in the world and have the best list in the world, but if you get a shitty pairing, game 4, game 5, you can easily still lose. So it is a lot of skill, a lot of list building, and having good lists, whatever. But again, a lot of it does come down to, or not a lot, a portion of it comes down to luck and pairings as well.
Yep.
Which is good. I like that. It's not, just this person wins because he's good and he has this list.
And that's the thing. It doesn't only, it means there's more than just play, right? There's not only skill to being a solid player in general at the table, but also in list building and army selection, right? A lot of people like us, we have our primary armies where, we have a lot of armies for the channel now, but I'm not taking most of them to tournaments, right? I stick to my elf armies because I like them. Where it's like, just jealous. But no, it's like you pick armies for one reason or another, but you got to think of the meta, or players often are, if they have 2 or 3 armies, they're taking the ones that they think gives them the best option, or if they're going to win, or obviously there's players going for different reasons and hobby and just have a good time and all that. Ridge only goes for beers, but That's why.
That's half true.
You're only playing Quado's Claw now.
Yeah,
Which
Zach asked what I'm going to do next after that, moving to Nurgle. No, I'm going to take back the Stonehorn that I sold you
I
and play ogres.
I think you should do sub-factionless Seraphon. That's
Oh, the fifth, yeah.
yeah, that's the fifth one to complete the star.
Well, I pretty much am with Kodo's Claw. It's the same fucking thing.
No,
Just you
well
pretty much.
that's four. That's a sub-faction. Then you gotta do pure sub-factionless.
I just mean like if you play just Coalesced, it's pretty much what Kodo's Claw is.
Okay, I get you. I get you. Well, you don't even
But
hear there. Yeah, I guess. And there's so many options in that book. So good.
yeah,
But
and being sub-factionless, you can actually get some good
yeah,
artifacts and stuff. But yeah.
yeah. So we have seen a little bit of fighting back and forth. The four Blight Lords did fight into the 30 stink unit, dealt 21 damage, finished off that unit. So we've seen like 53 stinks die so far. The 7 left on the left fought but dealt no damage. The Engine of the Gods fought and dealt 3 damage to those pus oils in the center. So one of them's probably only on like 1 or 2 wounds left. And the Slan actually looks like he's going to be fighting because the temple is within 3 inches. So
Yeah,
it
get
is
him.
tagged. All those heroes would be tagged, but obviously got to measure for the temple. Nick,
Yeah, only this land would be hitting because I don't think they're within an inch for the
No,
Star
doesn't look
Priest
like
and the
it.
Skink Priests.
Yep. And the Slan deals no damage.
And
But
Jordan, you know the Slan has a 3-inch weapon.
I do know that. I do. Nick in the chat is asking if we think Mitch gets bored playing the same list every tournament. Obviously, playing it very aptly, and there's something to be said about being excellent with it. Yeah, so actually, I've played Mitch a number of times and played him later in this tournament, actually. And he did say that tournament was the last time he was going to run that iteration of the list. He's going to be playing Nurgle. It sounds like some more, but he did say he was just bored of it.
Yeah.
It plays the same a lot of the times, which I understand. That's kind of how I felt when I was playing Stormcast for a couple months. It happens, right? But that's the great thing about having diverse books like Nurgle, is he can go back to the drawing board, build a list without any pus oils, or mix it up and
Well, the great
tons of
thing
options.
about Mitch as well, is most people won't know, is that he has probably the most models I've ever heard of anyone ever having in my life. All the 4 of the Chaos Gods and just like thousands and thousands of points of everything. Like he used to always put every time we'd go to an RTT and he'd have a different army. He'd be playing Archaon and Everchosen, or he'd be playing Nurgle, or be playing so many different armies. He plays Khorne, like yeah. So
a
I'm
chaos,
sure
a chaos man through and through, but he's I've seen him play and played against him with every faction in chaos. So
yeah, hard to say
and
for most people.
deep collections, oh for sure. So we are getting towards the end of the turn. It looks like we did roll disease, only dealing 3 mortal wounds from the disease points in total of all the units. So not a ton of damage there for the disease, but I guess everything that really got a ton of disease that turn is already dead. So
Yeah.
And then Mitch scored 5 points, hold 1, hold 2, hold more, because it looks like he did take that center objective, and stored the battle tactic for 5 points total. And we are into Seraphon turn 1, Denik's first turn, 53 stinks down, and he's got a lot of work ahead of himself here.
Yeah, that's a rough turn 1. But looking across, I feel like I say too much. Looking across, it's just so
It's still
many attacks.
Seraphon.
It's still Seraphon. He still has some things he can do, but he's not going to be able to deal with the 4. Yeah, I don't know. It's a rough spot, but you're right. It is still Seraphon, so there is still some stuff he can do if he's able to probably get himself out of the right side here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's rough. But that's I was going to say that once this happens, you get this many charges on you and this this many attacks. It's like it can be a bit demoralizing, but all you can do is fight out and just see what you can do. So it's tough, but
Danique is a very good player, though, as we said earlier. I don't think he'll be backing down anytime soon.
No.
Especially with differential scoring at this event, right? You're fighting until the last minute for every point. But we are into the Seraphon turn. Always lots going on in the hero phase. We've seen 2 command points generated from the Slan. Danique chose Broken Ranks on the single post oil left on the right side that's engaged with the Skink Chief for Broken Ranks.
Amazing.
He's chosen the Sage's Staff for the active asterism, giving the Slan +1 to cast.
Interesting right there.
No heroic actions because for Seraphon because of the Nurgle wheel. But the Lord of Afflictions has gone for heroic leadership. Yeah, we're into throwing buffs around, Serpent Staves, Herald the Old Ones on the Bastiladon. I'm sure there's so many buffs. I'm not even going to try and keep up with it all.
Don't you love that? Remember editing videos, playing Seraphon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it takes an extra, a day to edit this because it's Seraphon in this battle report.
It's that's honestly real. It's like the hero phase in Seraphon is like, it's like just so many little things, right? You think of the Skink Priest. He's doing 3 abilities himself, right? A command ability, prayer, and an ability, right? So that's one 80-point hero. In that army, there's just so much going on, right? I mean, Ridge, that it's a tough army to finish games with sometimes.
It's a lot to think about. You can definitely get overloaded. So getting reps in, and that's the one thing that has saved me from playing a lot of the other lists. Playing a lot of reps and knowing exactly your process of what you go through, it helps tremendously.
Yeah.
But new players, it's same as Lumineth. I've played some players, playing with Lumineth without tokens, and it's like, holy man, it's like it's a disaster.
Yeah, it's like even like from just like the point of the amount of things that happen, it's just like nothing compares to Seraphon.
No,
Lumineth is a lot too, but it's still half as many because it's just spells.
And Seraphon's like every phase.
Yeah.
But yeah. Where is the Bastiladon? Is it beside
It's beside the temple.
Skink Chief?
Yeah, exactly. Between the Skink Chief and the temple there.
He's got so much nice foliage on his bases. I can't tell where they're hidden in there.
Yeah, especially with the trees and the foliage there on the table.
Yeah, I forgot he's got those camos too. Now I'm just thinking about it too. So he does have a bit of play here. Take some objectives back. Depending on you can do damage. I don't know why. I don't know if I would have went for the just saying that was interesting. I think I would have went for the +1 attacks on one of the beasts here instead of going for the +1 to cast. I don't know what spells, like Comet is obviously nice, but like I said earlier, I don't think it's really important.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's something that I know when I first started playing it, I didn't really use that much. But after you have a few activations with the engine and the Skink Chief, you're like fully into just juicing those things up and just killing the world.
Yeah. They
do so much damage.
Oh yeah, and he does need the damage here. It's unfortunate that the Nurgle wheel being very fortunate for Mitch here. It's just stopping, even Finest Hour, right? Giving the +1 to wound would be huge on either of them.
Yeah, like I said, it's the best place to start. Not even just for that, but even next turn, it's going to be tight.
You did see, so the Slan did cast Comet's Call, and it took down one of the Pust Oils from the unit of 4. We've seen a couple of damage here and there with some other stuff. The Star Priest, though, miscast Hand of Glory, taking 1 mortal wound, but just knocking that spell off. That hurts, right, for reliability.
Yeah, one of the best spells in the game. Hero wants to hit. Still sticking around.
Yeah, it's a solid one. We're all hoping that one of the new order books coming is going to be Seraphon, just so they get a little balanced out.
I actually I wouldn't hate that either. Just make some other cool units better. And yeah, I want to play with like the Sunblood and some other cool units I used to play in AOS 2 and even Fantasy. Razor Dawn's other cool things. But yeah, it is just a little insane right now, the book.
Yeah, well, I mean, Razor Dawns have always been, we saw it last year at Grand Clash, they're not a bad option, right?
In any other book, they would still probably be taken, but not in Seraphon.
And especially with the the counterpart being a battle scroll.
Yeah, with the Sally's
The
giving up points. Yeah.
So Pterodons could get more of a look.
I already like pterodons. They're great.
Sorry,
Especially
I didn't mean Pterodons.
Razordons.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they're great too, but it's just so it's 2d6 shots. No rend unless you're within 6. So it's just, it's like skinks. Like, why just take more skinks if you want like 2d6 shots, threes, no rend, 1 damage. But they do slap in combat, so they're not actually jaws, so they don't get the +1 in combat. But they would be 3 attacks, threes, -2 damage. And when they charge, they can automatically shoot their volley of spikes, just d6 shots, but they have 1 rend. So yeah, as you can tell, I've thought about using them.
Yeah.
Like I said, they would be good in other armies, but there's just so many better options in the book with Seraphon.
Well, it looks like we had a short movement phase with the Chameleon Skinks just deep striking on the bottom of the board, tagging a couple of Mitch's objectives. And yeah, obviously most of the stuff is tied up in combat right now, so no movement for most of Danik's army.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it looks like we're going to go into shooting.
Yeah, those camo skinks. Yeah, I was a huge fan of them in AOS 2, having a nice 20 pack of those boys coming down.
Oh yeah, they're scary.
They do some massive work and then with the other teleport, just so many threats. But I've thought about we run 2 10s of them too in some lists, which they could be good. I do like that they have the 4-up ward near terrain, so I'm not sure he's not near any terrain here. But if you can keep the models within 1, having a 4-up ward is just amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, also here I don't know. He only needs to be within 16 to be shooting here, so it looks like I don't know what else he could have maybe put them in a little bit better of a position, but just really hoping if he can clear this bug in the top right and then win prio, he's actually in a pretty good spot. Like, I think he could.
Well, if he can
kill all these bugs,
he's got to kill a bunch here, right? That's the thing with Nurgle. When they're overwhelming you like this, you have to chew through them super fast so that you can score the objectives in the later half to pull even.
Yeah, but I do like the camo. See, like even here, right? Mitch didn't think to. Or not that he didn't think, but he probably just didn't care. He was fully alpha'd, right? Like,
yeah.
Sometimes you can keep 2 bugs back to maybe so they can't deep strike, but you can't hold all 3 points. You can't keep all 3 back, so the camos are coming down somewhere.
Yep.
So I do like that in this list, which I don't run them. I didn't run any camos in mine, but I do like them for especially Feral Foray and battle plans like this.
Yeah. All right, so in shooting, the Engine of the Gods rolled and did the AoE mortal wounds, as you mentioned, my favorite, dealing 5 mortal wounds in total to the various number of Blight Lords there. That's actually not, I guess, with the 5-up ward. I blunted the edge of what that could have been.
Yeah.
We saw the Stink Chief. Looks like now is shooting into that single Pusk Oil. It was used all out defense. We'll see if, because that would free him up. Looks like that the Stink Chief.
I wonder how many wounds he has left.
Not sure. I see a counter there.
Yeah, it looks like he rolled 3 5-ups. So what, 3 damage?
Yep. Yeah, so 3 damage there. He does have 3 left on that Blight Lord. So if there's a way to kill it, yeah. Obviously, he wants to do it with the monsters, though. Well, the Bastillodon's there still to shoot, but doing it with the monster will get him an extra point here, which, again, trying to keep from falling too far behind is big.
Yeah, he hasn't shot with the Bastillodon yet, has he?
No, not yet.
No, so that's man. Yeah. Bastillodon and Thunder Lizards, that's your battle point generator, that thing, man.
Yeah.
Get you so many extra points.
Yeah, the Priest went for used his artifact, the Fusel of Conflagration, did nothing. I love to see that. I hate that artifact, but it's a good one. A 4-up deals D3 mortal wounds, a 6 deals D6, and on a 1 it breaks.
You are correct. Nice. Yeah. I'm impressed.
I know, it's like playing it. I've played against you and Thunder Lizards a couple times, eh?
Yeah, it's I will say this: that item is very good if you remember it.
Yes,
So
yes.
many times I've forgotten it, but I said it on Monday too. Like I've also done 6 mortal wounds 2 turns in a row with it before,
Yeah.
so done 12 mortal wounds, which yeah. So it's very one that you want to remember because it can do some insane damage.
It is very um, overshadowed in the Seraphon book though, because that artifact only does one thing, and many of the other Seraphon artifacts do 2 or 3 things. So
Yeah, exactly.
we all know that stupid coat of feathers, which
That
is on the
best
Skink Chief.
artifact in the game.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
Yeah. So actually notable, we did the Skinks though. So we're in the Skink priests did get curse off on the 4+ oil unit. So that's big for shooting and all
He
the
got
damage.
curse off.
Yeah, so that'll be helpful.
Ooh,
The 10
baby.
Skinks only dealt, or there's 7 left, but the Skinks dealt 1 mortal wound to those pus oils just because of the curse.
Yeah, that would have been from the engine. Because I believe he has heal on his 2 skink priests.
Oh,
But
yes,
yeah.
could have been. Yeah, could have been. And the camo stinks just dealt 5 damage to the 2 pustules in the center there.
Nice, love that.
Yep, so not too bad. And we're setting up for the Basilodon to start some firing.
Yeah, this is what we're waiting for here because he should definitely be able to clear the one on the right. Is this Basilodon? Should be 9 shots, or has he taken a bunch of damage?
It looks like he's splitting shots actually. So
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I think
Which isn't a bad idea because he has the double tap.
Yeah. True. Always forget about that in Thunder Lizards, though. I don't. It's nice that it's only 1 unit. I remember back in AOS 2 when my brother Alex was running the 3 Basilodons, generating a ton of CP and double tapping them all.
Yeah,
it's crazy to look back at the Seraphon book and like the abilities that were able to be used and like even the points values things used to be at. Like, oh.
Yeah. I remember Basil saying in the Tough Crowd chat the one time, yeah, you don't remember when you used to have 80-point sallies, you could take it was like 2 or 3 units of 3 salamanders, 2 units of 40 skinks. It was like fucking just ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think all that stuff, not all of it. There are things that could still go up a little bit, in that book.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. 100%. Yeah, there's definitely still a few things. Engine should go up, the Basilodon can go up, the Skink Priest, the Star Priest, the Slan. Like, man, there's a lot of things in that book should be going up.
Yeah, but it's all good. Every army, well, not every army. When an army has its time in the sun, you just gotta ride it out. Enjoy it while you have it. Know it's not gonna last forever. The meta's gonna change. And Seraphon, before their latest book, was trash for a while, right? So
not even. They were. I feel like yes. Well, they had
trash.
like one.
They were subpar.
Yes, they had one build. Well, one build that was successful, which was the Thunder Lizard build still with the Basilodons. But you ran a lot of skinks, and they had a rule that you could charge, and then when they activate, you could retreat.
Yes.
So you would essentially do what the Furies do now, and just charge things, retreat them, and what is now called the skink rule. So like new things, like they have the skink rule, like the old skink rule, which was so good with everything else being savage and shooting and blah blah, all that stuff.
Well, so we went for the Basilodon. He did finish off that 1+ royal, freeing up the Skink Chief, and dealt only 2 damage to the 4 royals, or they were previously 3. Activated again with Trove of the Old One's technology, and dealt 5 damage in the second bout, finishing off another royal. So he's chewed, just over halfway through that first unit of 4.
Nice.
So
big charge here.
Yeah.
From the Skink Chief.
He's making a big dent here.
How many wounds has the Skink Chief taken? Do you remember? Or
I don't think he might have taken 1 from the disease, but I don't know that he's even taken that.
Shit, so he's top bracket, yeah.
Yep. I believe both the monsters are. We saw, so the Skink Chief did charge in there, dealing 1 mortal wound on impact. Monstrous actions, we've gone for a roar with the Skink Chief on those 2 Blight Lords, and the Engine of the Gods is stomping the Blight Lord unit in the center. Yeah, it looks like, sure, 1 or 2 damage.
Looks like 3. He just rolled 3 dice and no 5-ups.
Oh, nice. That's big.
Nice. So yeah, he can definitely fight his way out of this.
Yeah, man. I don't think he'll be able to, like. You think those Pustule units? There's at least 12 to 15 wounds in each of them left.
Plus the 5-up, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I really wish he was able to do best day ever, and I just seeing this, I really wish he would have done the +1 attacks on one of those, because it might come up that he could, that's just more damage he could have been doing.
He did use coordinated strike just now on the from the Skink Chief onto the Engine of the Gods, so given the Engine +1 attack,
an extra.
Yeah,
so. because he has the curse off as well, so there's a lot of profiles, so that's just more mortal wounds than the 6s to hit.
Yeah, man, you would love to see Danique finish off these 2 units he's in combat with, and then win priority.
Oh yes,
just after that turn 1, the devastating turn 1 from Nurgle, you love to see the army on its back foot, the underdog rise up, but.
Yeah, well, they can easily go down. Like, this is what happened in my, well, not easy, I shouldn't say easily, but the flies go down. They're 4-up safe. They have the 5-up ward, yes, but if you have a lot of attacks, especially with some rend and doing decent damage, like the Staggies and the Engine and a lot of Skinks, it's definitely, they can go down, especially if they alpha and you double back. Like, there's a good chance that you're going to be able to do the damage, unless he takes out a lot of your pieces.
No, they're scary.
So what's activating here? Probably the Engine he must be going with first.
Yep, and the Pustules in the center, those 2 that are left, did go for all-out defense. So we're just seeing...
Oh, because he roared on the right. That's right. Yeah.
The dice rolled now.
Now Mitch is
hefty amount of damage.
Yeah. Well, the horns are 4 damage, so... Ooh, doesn't look like that great of a roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5 of them, or 5-ups.
Let's see. Okay, so it sounds like the 2 Blight Lords have just died to the exact wound.
Oh, he took them both down.
To the exact wound. It's like, pretty subpar ward roll, but I mean, it's a 5-up, right? They're super swingy, but exactly to the wound there to take out those 2 Pustules. You love to see that.
Yeah, that's
huge. If you're Danique, right?
So he used coordinated strike already from the Skink Chief.
Yep.
So that's the one problem, is he can't actually. Well, I guess he could use solid attack from the Engine onto the Skink Chief, because he hasn't received a command ability.
Yep, and there's all the heroes in the
temple yeah, all the whole temple, yeah. So we're probably going to see an all-out attack then, I would imagine, for his last CP, because he doesn't care about bravery. He's going to get +1 save because they're less than 5 models.
Yep, with the lowering of the crest on the Stegodons.
The armored crest, yep. And he's -1 to hit, so he's got the Cloak of Feathers, so... Yeah, I'm not thinking these are gonna do too much damage to him, but
we shall see. It does look like he's activating those 2 Pustules on the right.
Yeah, and in these situations, here's the one thing I've kind of learned from playing this: because you need to use the command ability for Feral Roar, this fight at top bracket. Just for anyone that is playing other armies that need that. You need to do that at the beginning of the combat phase.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
So you need to know, like, even if you know you're not activating with something first, even if there's a potential for them to do like 5, 6 damage, and that brackets you like 2 or 3 brackets, something that I've started to do a little more often is to use that preemptively, just in case that happens. because I've bit myself in the butt so many times by not using that. And then it comes up, and then it's like, no, you can't do it because it's at the start of the combat phase. It's there, so you have to make that decision before doing that, right?
Yep. And we saw on Monday in our the last game that you and Carl commentated. I was playing and I got a roar off onto a bottom bracket Stink Chief all buffed up, but on bottom bracket he didn't do much.
Well, the horns go from 4 damage to 3, 2, 1 damage, and then the stomps go from 5 attacks to 4, 3, 2. So it's like it puts the output down drastically.
Yeah, for sure. Light Tactics in the chat is asking about strategy on tackling Nurgle with Lumineth. I would say
I'm gonna leave that one to you.
Yeah, obviously the mortal wounds helps. Always it just prevents gets right through the armor save. Right, they still have the ward, but it's more direct damage. Yet you'd want to have tech list depending on the list, but in a traditional tech list, bunch of wardens and 20 sentinels build. Your ward save is going to be your best friend, keeping you alive. Shining Company is going to be huge for limiting the damage coming in. But I think the big thing for any army facing this postoil list, or even anything similar, is positioning, so you're not taking on the whole army at once.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
we saw here, Danique. There were 6 postoils that didn't make it in, but still 10 postoils in your face turn 1 is horrible, right? Especially with the fact that he was able to get over the screen. So if you're setting up a screen, make sure that anything behind it is far enough back that he's not getting into it, or there's double layered screens, or the unit that's getting hit. If it's like a 20 block of wardens, they have Shining Company. They're able to do +2 to defense. With their Aether Courts. Not that you're really worried too much about the rend, but you have your ward save up. So if you're going in Lumineth and you're both 1-drops and you lose the roll and he deploys on the line, then I would say pull right back. If you win the drop, you want to you can position more forward and you want to take first turn so you can get your buffs up. Also having the tech list and the flexibility there and the teleport is huge for this Nurgle list. As soon as it's forward, it's super fast turn 1, but not the quickest after that.
I also like the list you used to play, and that I know like Sabetti was playing, is those Alumnia lists with 30 wardens, 20 wardens, and like 20 sentinels.
Yep.
And tech lists.
Yep.
I think those can definitely do some good damage against Nurgle lists like this. If you can alpha with that, with Alumnia, or even just stay in Shining and let him come into you, and then you're gonna do the damage back to him and kill him as long as you get your power fishes off. Like
exactly, like
the wardens do so much damage.
Yeah, the wardens are your best friends. Against an army like this, right?
Yeah. So what happened here? It looks like he took down a bug from the Skink Chief.
Yep. So we saw. What is it? 2 damage go onto the Skink Chief from the postoils. The Slan used all out attack on the Skink Chief. So, like we talked about.
Nice.
10 damage from the Skink Chief to the 2 Blight Lords. 1 more damage from the Slan to them. And we're rolling disease right now. The Skink Chief just took 4 mortal wounds from disease. So he's down to half health. He's got 6 wounds left. And obviously all those heroes in the temple would have been in combat, right? So they're generating disease as well.
Yep.
So Slan takes 1 mortal wound, and we'll see.
Yeah, so he did 10 damage. Respectable. 2s and 3s.
Yep. Killed 1 postoil. Still in combat though, but you think if he wins the turn, he's gonna be able to. He won't be able. I don't know if he'll be able to kill that postoil in the hero phase, so he can still move. But
well, if he did 10 damage, they got 8 each, so that thing's got 6 left if it hasn't been wounded yet.
You look at the table, and Danique's done a good job this turn.
Yeah, he's cleared a lot. The problem is his bodies. Like, he's got the 3 the 3 stags or the 2 stags in the Basti. So still a lot of damage that he has on the board for sure.
Yeah.
This turn 2 prio is going to be massive.
Yeah, as we often say.
Especially with alpha and armies that you're into the mix right away.
Yeah, I love seeing with you and Carl recapping the round 1 game, which was my game versus Pat. I loved hearing Carl talk about how important the priorities were, and then me losing every one of them. But still
classic
with a little
Carl beating you in every priority.
With a little luck, managing to claw it out. But it's priorities are big, but they're not always everything.
There it is. That was it right there.
Yep, and Mitch rolled a 6 to Danique's 1.
Yay!
Yeah. So good rolls on priority for Mitch here so far. That's just demoralizing, especially the 6 to a 1, right?
Yeah, just not even a contest. And now his flies are all free, right? You still got 3 units of 2.
3 units of 2, yeah.
A single and 2 lords.
So Danique, so it looks like, okay, so just based off the player scoring, so they calculated Danique at 6 points. He did complete his battle tactic with a monster for 3 points there. He would have hold 1 and hold 2. It looks like they counted the camo skinks as tagging both of those objectives on Mitch's side towards the bottom.
Yeah.
But that just want to call out, so he should have here only scored 5 points because he wouldn't have had hold more because you actually can't control with the unit anymore. So it used to be you could control 2 different objectives with different models in the same unit, but now in AOS 3 it is actually the unit as a whole cannot control 2 objectives.
Yeah, so he has to allocate to one of those. And you can see, he's barely nipping the bottom right, which he probably did thinking he could hold both of those.
Yeah.
And also maybe the reason why he kind of positioned the way he did, because honestly, I would have maybe, with the camos, you want to be exactly 16 away. Like right where you're shooting, as far as away as you can be, and possibly near terrain.
Yeah, and even I mean, the shooting's not bad on 5 camos, right? They did do 5 damage. Which is
it's good.
Solid, but you put them like even just far, even if they're not shooting, you put them as far away as possible so you can pick them up and if something comes close and put them down on another objective and just, dance around.
Yeah, so I would either put them so the bottom left middle tree or the very bottom right tree. Behind that, like within an inch, each model within an inch of that, exactly 16 from whatever unit you're shooting is your opportune spot. So you're getting your 4-up ward, and you're still getting your fully shooting out of that, and you're holding your point. And then if they move 8, you can possibly they could fail a charge. Mm-hmm. They don't have a leader, which would be tits if they gave the camo skink the leader. Because often with Sally's, or just redeploy. Because as you know, with Sally's too, when you teleport a unit to Sally's behind enemy lines, they need to be babysat or they're fucked. Yeah. So same with camos. You can't issue.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we're seeing right here. Like Mitch is just going to move these guys. So that looks like like a 4 or 5 inch charge.
Exactly. So we are into movement, but just to recap the hero phase for Nurgle, Mitch did choose Conquer to take his middle objective back. Should be able to do that. And the Slan failed heroic leadership. The Lord of Afflictions General, which is the one just moving now on the left side of those two. Has gone for finest hour, and Nurgle generated 4 contagion points for 9 total. Actually, I was expecting more, but he didn't have any units wholly within his own territory. So potentially a little slip there. Could have been up to 12, but you can still summon. Where does Nurgle summoning start? Probably at 7 points, right?
No, 6. So Sloppity is 7. Yeah, Sloppity and the other hero. You're always summoning a Sloppity, but I guess if he has no demons, then you're just saving up to then summon Nurglings.
No demons here. Yeah.
So he's probably going to go for Nurglings, or you can do 1 Beast to Chaos for 10. But usually I think Nurglings are probably the most point efficient one.
Oh. Yep, get a couple bodies out there.
Yeah. What's up, Matt? Damn flies. I agree, buddy.
Yeah. I'm sure
Matt's probably he's probably played Mitch enough times.
Yeah, more than any of us.
Yeah.
Being a teammate on the Knights of Pyre.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Matt, you playing the ghosties? You got Matt's probably bought a bunch of Blade Geist Revenants, I imagine. As a lot of the other people have.
Matt's a Night Haunt player, probably excited about all the new rules that have been leaked. Alex, who I'm going to be getting a game with this weekend, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, Alex is back.
Yeah, he's been on a hiatus doing some renovations, but the excitement of the forthcoming Night Haunt tome has brought him back from the grave.
Yeah, I played a game with Carl last night with my Kodals, went into Nagash with some Blade Geist Revenants, and they got some cool rules, man. The shutting off battle shock was, oh dude. And you see that with the Lord of Affliction, same thing. It's so good.
Yep, and theirs is much less restrictive than the Lord
Just
of Afflictions.
Within 3. Yeah.
And that's
fun stuff.
That's an allegiance rule too, right? So that's the whole army.
Yeah, for sure. And the charging. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good book for sure. And you just see all these. It's nice to see just more diverse, and I just like when there's books like Seraphon or like Nurgle, like ones that every unit is diverse. So you see different lists. You don't always see the same list. You don't always see the same everything.
Yeah.
So when allegiances are good, it definitely helps with things like that. But.
For sure. Well, where are we? We're in the charge phase. So 2 bugs just charged, tightening the Bastiladon and the Stink Chief. Dealt 2 mortal wounds to the Bastiladon, none to the Stink Chief, and the Bastiladon is going for Unleash Hell.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going for whatever he can here.
Yep.
Right.
Makes sense.
Smart.
Yeah, that's
Now, did he do Herald on the Bastiladon last turn?
Yes,
so
he
could
did.
double tap it. Okay, so smart. Denique knows what he's doing. That's a great move. So he's going to be actually back to hitting on 4s here.
Yep.
And he miscast the Hand of Glory, which would have been helpful here as well.
Yeah. Reroll 1's always so impactful, especially when you're double tapping your unit.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I know we were saying these demons or all the Blight Lords aren't demons. I'm sure Denique is disappointed about that because that Bastiladon, it's an extra damage against demons.
Yes, sir.
So unfortunately, surprisingly, you'd think because the mounts are Pustoils, I think they'd have the demon keyword as well. But I guess for synergies and whatnot, it makes sense.
They're different flies technically.
You don't want to give every unit or one unit every keyword.
No, because then the Pusco Blightlords would get you can't pile into them.
Exactly.
But also, they would have it's like the old Zangors on discs. They used to have the demon keyword, I remember, because that disc was technically a demon. Yeah, exactly. So it was it's a blessing and a curse, right? I don't know why Order armies are the only ones. This is what my buddy Jeremy we'd always play. It's this Bastiladon does 3 damage. Croak does an extra, it's 3 damage flat. And it's there's no Chaos models that do extra damage to Order. It's they gave it all to Order that just does way more damage to Chaos Demons.
Yeah.
Thanks, GW. Makes so much sense.
It's all in the lore, Ridge. It's all in the lore. That's why you don't know about it.
Exactly. Order or die. I know that lore. If you're not playing Order, you're fucked.
All right. So Lord of Afflictions rolled a 2 for his charge, re-rolled it, and made it into or it looks like we're about to okay. So Mitch re-rolled it into a 3 here. So just making it into combat. Thanks to that forward to victory. Yeah. Heartbreaking for Denique losing that big the turn 2 priority. I think he's still gonna have some play, but we'll see.
Depends if they can survive this. Which again, they're gonna get the Armored Crest, so they'll be +1 save. Yep. Oh, it depends. Do +2, so we'll be back to 3-up saves. So you never know. He looks like he's within 1, so he'll have a 6-up ward and everything as well.
Yeah.
Now, what was this? Now these guys are on here. Is this because it was table 1, right? And
this is table 1, round 3.
So they must both be on 40 then, I imagine.
Yeah, I believe so. All max points here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at this point, it would have to be. So, the Lord of Afflictions dealing a bunch of mortal wounds on impact. 1 to the engine of the gods. 3 to one of the skink priests in the temple. He is within 1 of the temple. So he dealt 3 to that priest and killed it. 2 mortal wounds to the star priest, who has 2 left. 1 mortal wound to the slan. And 2 mortal wounds to the other priest, also killing that priest.
Oh, God.
So that's one downside of having all your heroes in the temple. When the impact hits, deal damage to everything within 1.
Yeah. Well, he was probably in a position, too, that he was thinking in his head, like, he needs to win this turn 2 prio after taking that massive of a damage to turn 1. But I don't know. Other than that, what do? You can just pop your skink priest or star priest out behind, because then at least if your dinos survive, you can give them the buffs. But I don't know. It's tough either way. That turn 2 prio was massive. What's up, Patrick? Danique, your boy. The lizard man himself. Man, I remember the first time the first year we came and I saw Danique with the dinosaur costume. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, that guy has got to be a fucking gem.
Yeah. Okay, so we see some more Postorial slamming in on the left side. See some impact hits from them potentially as well. There are still some skinks there behind the tree. I think there's 7 left, maybe. Not a lot, not enough to do much, but they're there. They were probably only helping the Nurgle charge, if anything.
Yeah, and even at the beginning, I think we didn't really talk about it, but I think I'm wondering why he was leaving them there. Like, it was so like a screen in case that big charge he couldn't get into the engine, I guess, because they would just get in the way. Because often with those other random 10 skinks in this battle plan, I usually put them on the opposite, wherever I'm not castled up. So in this case, it would be the top left. I'd ring them on the very top of that objective, right? So you have 10 models on there. So then if he pregame moves 2 bugs, which he did, and then moved them, and then got the 2 bugs on and was able to cap that top left point, if he had 10 skinks around the top ring of that, or just some of them touching,
yeah,
and then he didn't make the charge with them, then
even
he would have been
4 touching means he has to put at least 3 bugs there.
Exactly. So if he made that as charge far as he could, put the 10 pack over there with just 4 of them touching, and then it would be, well, we can do math, so it would be 16-inch. So the charge, it would be what, like an 8 or something?
I don't know.
To the
too late for math for me.
Yeah, to the top of that circle. Either way, it wouldn't matter because he lost turn 2 prio, but he would have held it at least turn 1.
The slan has. Sorry, where are we? Let's go. So impact hits. We did see the 2 Postorials charge into the camo stage, killing 3 on impact. The Blight Lords that we mentioned earlier at the top that charged into the engine dealt 1 mortal wound to the engine, 4 to the skinks. So that unit of 7 skinks is probably down to at least 3 or less.
Yep.
But yeah, I spot the slan. As he did cast Arcane Bolt last turn, just released it now, but dealt no damage.
No, he rolled the 5 up. But at least he remembered. I'll often cast that and just, completely forget.
Yeah, and Pat saying in the chat, he does playtest a bunch with Danique. No surprise there from us. Again, seeing their lists are pretty similar, so obviously 2 good players that know their armies really well. And honing the Seraphon lists like you, Ridge, to a very fine point of efficiency.
Yeah, I don't have another Seraphon player to playtest with. I chat with Basil a lot about just different lists and like different ideas about units and stuff, but it's so nice when you can speak the Seraphon language with play actually games, and both of your guys' lists are very much like the top, what you see kind of
Very
everywhere.
strong.
I've seen some and it's literally just comes down to Skink Chief, Engine, Slan, Star Priest, Skink Priest, Skink Priest. That's your core. And then 30 skinks, 10 skinks, 10 skinks, and then it's if you use one Bastiladon or two Bastiladons. I like here that he has the 5 camos, but that's the bit of variance you kind of see. But yeah,
1,500 points is pretty locked in.
Exactly. And if you watch Honest Wargamer, which I'm sure everyone does because it's the best show and best content we have as competitive Age of Sigmar players, you see a lot of those lists, and Rob talks about them a lot. Like, oh, another Seraphon, Thunder Lizards, this.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
But like any army, it takes an excellent general still to do super well with it.
Absolutely. Especially in game 4 and 5 against, some tough lists and good players.
Yeah, sure. And all right, so heroic actions, actually some interesting developments here at the end of the charge phase. The Skink Chief roared the Lord of Afflictions on the right. The engine stomped the Blight Lord, just dealing 1 mortal wound. But the Bastiladon used Smash the Rubble on the Realm Shaper engine, and both the Slan and the Star Priest, it sounds like, you have to roll to see if they
huge brain play here. Love this.
They both survived and are now out of combat. You can see them just at the top of the mat. It's a little bit off the edge of the camera, but just at the top of the screen there, in the corner, just fitting in beside the end. The Realm Shaper engine, outside of 3 of some Blade Lords. So.
Oh my god, I love that. That's amazing.
It stops, the Lord of Afflictions from going into the heroes in the temple.
Yeah, and just keeping that Star Priest alive is massive for output. That's so good. I have to say I have not seen that, and I'm definitely taking that away from this. If one thing you're taking away, for me, that's so good. Yeah, you often forget about Smash to Rubble. Even against like Deepkin with the boats, or like, so many terrain pieces now are good. But not your egg. Thinking about doing it against your own, that's like, big brain.
Play.
Love that. Yeah.
Great play, Danique. Huge hat off to you. Scrapping again, like we said, scrapping till the end. He's not going down without a fight.
Yeah, because it's not friendly. It's just a terrain piece, right? Is that's the rule, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, so good.
We got Dayton in the chat as well.
Oh no, Dayton? Not Dayton.
And yeah, Pat making a comment about how you said, game 4, game 5, it's important. He also says game 1, if you get a matchup like we did, that is a round 5 matchup we had for both of us in round 1. So that can be I tend to get that a lot. I don't know why, but
get what? What's that?
Have tough matchups. I played. It was a grudge. I had Yuri round 1 at Red Harvest. I had Bill Souza round 1 at Du Bois. So I don't know.
And Patrick now, that's your new thing. Just playing good players round 1.
I'm. You know what? It's always fun because a lot of these guys are all great players as well. Pat was an absolute pleasure to play against. We had a great game, great time, and so. Super close game. Those are the games you want, right? That's what you want.
Yeah, and it's not the worst. Because, like when you played, say, Yuri, like, the submarine is real when you lose your first game, and then you can win your next 4 and get a lot of points.
Yeah, well, we saw...
It's not as bad as, like, say, you win your first 3, then you lose your 4th and 5th because you're playing harder opponents. Or you lose your 5th and drop 6 places. Like a lot of other things can happen.
Yeah, for sure. So in the combat phase, it looks like we're activating with the 2 post oils on the far right side. They've used all out attack, and that's where Mitch is starting combat. Oh, you just hope that Skink Chief lives here, I think. That's all Danique can hope.
Yeah, last one to hit.
Yeah, he will be +2 to save here.
Against just one of those units.
Yes, yeah. So still, but +1 against them all at least. He did get the run, shoot, and charge, and +1 save buff last turn, so that's still on him.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to be on 3-up.
Yeah, and actually, So at Red Harvest, I did the submarine after losing a close game to Yuri round 1, which I wish the battle scroll was in effect way back then. Would have won me the game.
Yeah, it would have been much different, or that you knew, or that the White Dwarf wasn't in effect.
Yeah. But
notorious.
Yeah. Obviously, the results for this tournament are out, and while we're not going to spoil the games we're watching or that we have coming up, Pat East after game 1, lost a close game, which in differential scoring isn't too bad because he's still got 8 points out of a potential 20 there, so not too bad. And did end up winning out his last 4 games. I think 20-0'd all of them. To make it, in a 116 player event back into the top 10. I think Pat ended up 7th overall, which is a fantastic result and tournament for him after, again, playing a round 5, matchup, arguably in round 1. That's a tough path.
Yeah, big time. Subtle flex there by you, but yeah, I love it.
Well, I think it was same for both of us, right? That game could have gone either way.
For sure. And, I'm just fucking with you.
I know, Rich, but I'm too humble to let you get away with it.
Matt says he didn't 20-0 me. Yeah, either way. So he scored high though, for sure.
Yeah, in all the rest of the games.
Which in this differential was massive. Yeah, so there's a lot of. I'd be curious to see what the highest 3-2 was and what their score was.
It was Matt. Matt went,
was it actually Matt?
Yeah, Matt went 3-2, but because he lost, closer games and then his wins were potentially big wins, and he 20-0'd his 3 wins. He ended up in 10th, based on battle points. So Matt that's where worked out in Matt's favor in this one. Having this scoring system. But when you had Matt, in 10th at 3-2 and Carl down at 39th at 4-1,
yeah,
is an interesting dynamic.
Yep, differential, fun stuff.
Hey, we all signed up for the tournament knowing what it was, so.
Yeah, everyone knew, and even the year before, we knew too. I knew it was actually a little bit different though. It was like battle points. They had like a 3-tiered thing last year, I think, right? Like it was actually kill points was differential, but then wasn't there a different portion to it?
I don't remember.
Because there were no battle tactics. This was AOS 2, so there were no battle tactics and stuff like that as well.
Well, those 2 Postorials or Blight Lords did deal 2 damage to the Stink Chief, bringing him down to 3. Stink Chief is targeted the single Blight Lord. And dealt 3 damage there, so he's got, looks like, 3 left. So the Stink Chief down to 3. There's still 1 Postoil and the Lord of Afflictions to go into him. I'm not too optimistic about his chances of survival.
No, it's not looking great. And then it's always just swingy, like the disease too. Because all the 6s adding more disease, and then 4-ups, like true. It's like the disease is.
Looks like he's nearly maxed disease on the Stink Chief, so even if he doesn't die in combat, those mortal wounds will potentially. Oh, and look at that. So the Blight Lord did finish off the Stink Chief there. He's being lifted right now.
3 damage, yeah.
So that's
what's up, Darktron? Darktron 69, best name ever.
The Toronto boy.
Yeah, he's got the Rats logo. Oh yeah.
He's been in the chats sorry.
Yeah.
Not lost. But in the
maybe
chat,
lost. Yeah. You don't know that.
Actually, I think he said he's going to be at we've got a tournament at X Planet this coming weekend. I think He said he was going to be there. I'm not playing. I don't think you're playing in it either, Ridge. But I am going to stop by.
Stop by with Baby J.
Exactly. I told Cass I was bringing Baby J to her first Warhammer tournament this weekend, but she freaked out because she thought I was going to play in it too. But
just sit her in the seat, decide, watch Daddy play.
Yeah. Well, they're those like baby seats that you can just mount to the side of a table at restaurants, right? That's what I.
So you don't Yeah, you don't think it's a crazy idea to be able to do that.
But one day, just get her to roll my dice. But right now, she's still uh, too young where she'll try and eat the dice. So not ready to roll dice with Daddy yet.
No, looks like he's saying Mitch isn't playing this bug list at X Planet. He's probably playing an incarnate. I heard there's like 5 people playing the incarnates at the
Oh
X Planet.
gosh,
Yeah.
I hate that kind of thing. I hate it. I still haven't even read the Incarnate War Scroll just because I hate the Incarnate out of principle.
We gotta get on the channel, bro.
I'm printing one up for, well, Alex prompted it, but I'm printing one up for the channel.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, so that'll. The Incarnates is not something I am excited about.
I'm indifferent. I don't know. When these things come out, it's like
I
there's always like a big hurrah about it, and everyone finds different ways to jank it and use it in different lists and stuff. And clearly, it can be good in a lot of ways. Why? What do you think? What's your big beef with it?
It's just annoying seeing something like dragons going into every order army.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like it's just annoying to see
You're a
something.
purist though as well. You don't even like allies.
Yeah, that's true. I avoid them where possible.
Yeah, which I
Yeah,
think you're nuts for that. Allies are amazing.
that's. I mean,
Flavor.
yeah. I've played dragons in IDK, but went back to my turtle. Yeah, if
Yeah, that served you well for this tournament.
yeah, the turtle was excellent, and I'm gonna be taking the same list down to Texas next month for Slambo. So the list submission was well in advance, so I'm not having any time to test or practice anything else, let alone paint anything else. So
Nice. That'll
taking
be
it down.
that'll be an insane. I'm so mad that once we dropped that I couldn't go to Slambo,
Oh,
but I'll be in Mexico,
yeah.
video chatting with you guys on Sunday.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Are we going? Well, I'm going to Max Aggression the following weekend for a tournament that Josh Akins, one of our favorite TOs locally, is playing in. Or sorry, hosting, not playing in. But excited for that for myself, Ridge.
Oh, is that in the falls?
Yep.
Nice. I haven't been there yet. I want to go. Go to strippers after.
Oh,
I'm just joking. But am I?
that is the question. We're not sure. None of us are sure.
No.
Um, yeah. So where are we? It's so easy to get lost in this game. Well,
Yeah. A bunch of things are attacking in
yeah,
the top of the screen, as you can see here.
Yeah.
And
Engine of the Gods has dealt no damage. 1 damage to the engine from 2 of the Blight Lords. Bastillodon dealt 1 damage to 2 Blight Lords. And looks like the Lord of Afflictions is dealing 1 damage to the Engine of the Gods. So a whole lot of 1, 2 damage chipping here at a time. But the big thing is, I mean, both armies do the same thing, right? Both with damage and mortal wounds, but Mitch getting the positioning and all the impacts that he did both turns now and winning priority has just let him really kind of pull ahead on the board. I think the Skink Chief going down was maybe the straw that broke the camel's back, but we'll see what Danique has in his round 2. Might be an opportunity for him if he could. He did clear out a ton. A bunch of those plus loyal units are pretty heavily wounded. He's got the double tap on the Bastillodon. The mortal wound output of Seraphon is no joke in different phases. So
yeah, he doesn't have it's the skinks pretty much though, right? Even with the Basti, the engine, and I guess with the engine and the Slan together, they can do some mortals here and there.
yeah,
I just don't know how many wounds are on each of the flies, but
yeah, you really wish those 10 skinks that were off to the side were yeah. You just wish
Jonathan,
that 30 block had have been kept safer, right? Didn't get into the 30 block turn 1. That would have been
yeah.
rough.
Here's a guy you're going to meet at Slambo, Jonathan Sleezis. I've heard of that name. I think he played Giants. I
Awesome.
listened to
Well,
the Ever Chosen podcast a bunch, and I'm
Jonathan, I
pretty
hope to
sure I've
see
heard
you
his
down
name.
there. I'm pumped for Slambo.
Slambo!
Yeah, very excited for that. And yeah, it'll be a good one. Do have to want to give a big shout out to Dan, who the TO from Slambo, who helped coordinate figuring out some stands so that I can bring down my cameras and record games down there as well.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, we're starting the channel. We're so excited to showcase like the Ontario community and the Canadian community here at Grand Clash, right? But I'm excited, like, hope to see some of the great players down in Texas on the top tables, getting matches recorded and showcasing, because there's a great community down there in Texas. We all know.
So good. I'm so jealous,
Very,
man.
very pumped to see some of those players on the table.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. I can't wait. Like, we wanted to go to Texas last year for the Open, remember?
Yep.
But COVID was like mid-COVID, so we couldn't.
Yep.
And then now you guys are going to get to go to Slambo, which so jealous. So many people that I've just heard of or chatted with and seen at different tournaments I'd love to see. But yeah, Swaggy, you're going to see me in Michigan, baby. I'm coming. Me and Anthony are driving Friday night. I'll probably get there late, but yeah, we'll be there for the weekend.
Time you leave on a Friday?
Anthony's driving from Buffalo or somewhere in New York through Canada because it's quicker for him than driving around Lake Erie.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think he's hitting me at like 5 or 6 p.m. something, and then it's like 2 or 3, something like 2 or 3 hours from us to get to Detroit.
Yeah,
because it's right on the Windsor border, right? So
interesting.
I don't know why we don't go to more like tournaments in Detroit and shit, because it's pretty close.
I've had my eye on a bunch because it's great. Slambo only worked out for me because I had we had planned to be at the Worlds that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason that one worked out for me. But because traveling, it just takes more time, right? There's an extra day potentially, or of travel when you have to fly. But the nice, close, drivable ones, like that's why Du Bois is nice and close. It's a shame. Actually, there was 2 GTs in like the northeastern U.S. the same weekend as Grand Clash, which was a pity because we would love to go to them.
Big time.
Yeah. So yeah, hope to hit more GTs. Ridge, I may be a last minute addition to your car if you guys have room going down to Detroit. I'm tempted.
Actually?
I'm tempted now.
I don't know if they... Yeah, definitely find out. I don't know how many...
Well, I also have my vehicle, so if we needed more space, but...
No, I don't mean about the ride. I mean the tournament.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too. Show up last minute. There's always last minute drops, but...
Yeah, you are correct there.
Yeah. So we are into Seraphon turn 2. Mitch did have a big turn of scoring there. Holding 1-2 more. Battle tactic. Killed a monster. Brings him to 6. And then also burned that top right objective. Because he is within 1 inch of the center. For 7 points total. Putting him to 12. That's up 6 points on Danique here. Into Seraphon turn 2. Slan generated a CP, so that's something going for Danique. But this turn this is his last chance, right? This turn, and he needs, I feel like, a big turn here, and then round 3 priority to have a shot.
Oh, for sure. And there's burning in this one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if he wins 3, it's still going to be rough. Where are all the heroes? Somewhere in the mix of the foliage.
The 2 foot heroes, like the Slan and the Star Priest, are at the top, right in the center, right above the Engine of the Gods.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And Danique, just choosing his battle tactic, so has bravely gone for Slay the Warlord here on the Lord of Afflictions, which is in combat with the Engine right now. So.
Yeah, at this point, you got to go for something here. Yeah, why not?
Not many options, right? It's hard. when you're like hemmed in your own territory like this.
Especially just being down so many points from the objective game. You need to get some points from secondaries.
Yep,
And if he's able to do it with the engine.
Yeah, for sure. Dawn for the Sage's Staff again. Ridge, you know what? I'm with you. I think the +1 attack here could have been a juicy choice as well, just to help, deal output, right?
Well, he has no unbinds. And like I said, yeah, any of the magic here, you're not really worried about that. So maybe he's just so used to doing that he's just going through the motions or just keeping it on the same one. I don't know.
Both players have attempted heroic leadership. Lord of Afflictions failed, but the engine did succeed. Yeah, we'll see what we can do from casting here. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, what does he even have? Because I don't know. Did he take Stellar Tempest on his land? Probably. I don't know if he would have changed it. Oh, what's that? Is that his Life Swarm?
Yep, Life Swarm coming out. He'll be doing some healing to the engine of the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's pull up list real quick. So what spell? Looks like the Slan did have Stellar Tempest. He could have switched it turn 1.
Yeah.
We may have missed that. Oh, he must have, because the Slan just cast Celestial Apotheosis.
Yep, perfect. He knows his stuff. So that's a heal on a, and then if it's a 10+, it's D3. So it's heal 1 wound, and then you actually minus your bravery of your opponent by 1. But if it's 10+, it heals D3.
Nice. Well, so that's 4 wounds between the Life Storm and Celestial Apotheosis healed so far. So the engine's up to 11 wounds. That's 14 is his max in Thunder Lizard, so only 3 off of him, and he'll get another tick of Life Swarm at the end. But the Slan did just...
He'll be back to top bracket.
Yeah. So the Slan did just fail to cast Comet's Call, though. That's unfortunate. But...
On +2, yeah. And if he gets a curse off too, right? That engine has curse, so that's...
looks like he just rolled it right now. That's a 4-up, moving the terrain. You can see that.
Nice.
So that looks like, curse going on to the Lord of Afflictions. So that's, very helpful for taking him down. Yeah,
because did he do best day on his LOA when he did slay the Warlord?
He went for heroic leadership with
for a CP?
Yeah.
Oh, because if he gets roared, then he can't even use that. Or did he already do best day on him, maybe?
You know what the disappointing thing is? And maybe this was a mistake on Danique's part, forgetting. The Lord of Afflictions with the turning off CP is right there. He's definitely holy within 7.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that's tough.
Because he's going to be holy within 7, so he won't be able to get CP from other units.
Darktron in the chat is asking about the Season of War GT in August, coming up in a couple months. August 6th and 7th. How does he enter the tournament? Well, Darktron, you can find a link in this video description, I believe, to the event. And it's just on Facebook, or you can just search it on Facebook at Season of War GT or Season of War Grand Tournament, one or the other. Should come up, and that'll, you'll find all the information in there. There's a player's pack. We're working on the adding the hobby pack or the hobby breakdown this week. We're just finalizing that for details for hobby aspect of the tournament. But yeah, you'll find everything in there and a link to BCP so you can buy a ticket if you want to join. So love to have you and anyone else out to it. So feel free.
Be a lot of prizes.
We're over half sold out now, so it's tickets are going. So if you haven't got yours already and you're planning to attend, don't wait too long. Ridge, I'm looking at you. I know you haven't got yours yet.
Yeah, I haven't got my ticket yet. Don't worry. I know a guy.
No, I'm not. I'm not holding any. Hey, it's all through BCP. I can't even hold any back.
Oh, I know. It's all right. Last minute cancellations.
Yeah. So.
I know. I'll get it. He looks like he's got the mortals. He's just rolling dice after dice, which couldn't be a better time for this.
Yep, he did. Engine did roll AoE mortal wounds. So 2 mortal wounds to the Blight Lords on the left. The Lord of Afflictions, that is his target, takes 1. So he's got 6 left. The Nerdlings take 2. The Lord of Afflictions on the right is taking 3. The single Blight Lord on the right takes 1. And it looks like we got some ward saves here. Yeah. Oh, taking all 3 is the right plus Royal Blight Lord, a unit of 2. So
now double tap that and do that again.
That was huge. That's 12 mortal wounds in total.
Yeah, it's pretty insane what that thing can do.
That's not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah. Yeah, Matt, if you haven't got a ticket yet, get your ticket too. Darktron would love to see you and your buddy there. Try and get everybody out that we can. Want to throw a big GT for the community. Obviously, we got a big community out here. Actually, the main reason that we've been wanting to run events again for a while, but there's so many RTTs in our area, but not enough GTs. So I'm like, well, gotta run it myself, I guess.
Yeah, one of them at least. But yeah, there's been a few more even this year. It's been nice, and we're just traveling a ton.
Yep. I mean, we've had one GT in Ontario this year. So
has it only been
one
Rock Gang? Oh yeah, I didn't even go to that.
Yep.
Shit, that's right.
What makes something a GT? The difference between a GT, so a GT, it has to be 2 days, and I believe it has to be at least 5 games. So it's 5+ games spread over 2 days. So that's the qualification to be a GT. An RTT is typically done in 1 day, and usually they're more oriented towards a local community. They're smaller events often, so they're usually 3 games. Sometimes you'll have crazy people organizing tournaments like Lionel from X Planet, who likes to do 4-game RTTs.
Psycho.
Yeah, it's madness.
People love it. Love it.
No, there are pros and cons. I don't mind it, actually. I don't mind the 4 games. But honestly, I'm
too old.
I've been pitching Lionel to do a 5th game at midnight so it can qualify as a GT. I'm like, we're already there all day. It's already, we're already doing 4 games. A 5th game.
You guys are fucked.
At
That's
midnight.
Insane.
Just do it. I'd be so down for it.
Yeah, I also got hip surgery back in November. So when I do those things, I don't even think about it. And then my life sucks the next day.
Nice. Well, not nice, but it is rough. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't think about it, but it's a lot of standing. I try to sit down, but I just get too into the game and doing stuff. But yeah, anyways, what's happening? Bastillodon.
So Bastillodon only dealt 1 damage to those 2 Blight Lords it's in combat with. But that looks like it killed a Blight Lord and freed it up to be on the charge. So yeah, it looks like he's charging that in right now.
Nick. Got hip surgery, so my life sucks. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, thanks, George.
So Matt's built his display board for the GT, but hasn't even got his ticket yet. Yeah. So Matt, get your ticket. Don't want to miss out. I don't want to. I'm so bad with names. I don't know if it's
Joaquin, buddy. Joaquin Phoenix. Come on.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to go for, but I wanted to preface the apology. But Joaquin just bought his ticket, so thank you so much. Pumped to see you there.
Where are you from, Joaquin? Let us know. I wonder how far people are going to come. I know there's some people from the States coming. Yeah,
Jeremy Vestier, he said he booked his flight. He's coming. I think he's a Portland guy, not a Portland guy.
West Coaster.
Yeah, West Coast,
Midwest,
Washington.
Yeah,
Washington State.
Sweden. What? Get out of here. That's awesome, man.
If you are coming all the way from Sweden, that is crazy, but would be happy to have you.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, come see Toronto. Check out some stuff. There's some cool shit to do here.
Nice, guys.
Not nearly as cool as Sweden, but
yeah. Don't forget, guys, to book your hotels as well. I know there is information for that in the Facebook event as well. I know they will potentially run out of hotels. We have a block for us, but just get on it early. Don't forget.
it's right close to the venue too. There's no better thing than getting one right at the venue. It's so nice.
Well, yeah,
the Sandman,
the hotel, like that is where we are playing,
which is beside the airport, or right beside the airport.
So it's like a 5-minute Uber from the airport, playing in the host hotel of the tournament. So super convenient. Lots of food around. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Is the engine attacking yet?
Engine is attacking. The Lord of Afflictions used all out defense. No surprise. The engine went for stomp, but dealt no damage, and the Bastiladon roared. Oh, you almost wish you would have roared the
you got
the engine.
Yes, but with one rend, you.
In the end, the engine dealt 4 damage to the Lord of Afflictions, who survives with 2 wounds.
No. I don't know, actually. If you roll a big 3 on that stomp.
That's true, but he still has the 4 ward save, right?
Yeah, he's got the split horn helm. Yeah, you probably want to go with the roar.
Either way, it's super dicey.
And then the roar's on a 3. So yeah, there's lots to it. But either way, that's a wah-wah.
Yeah, that's going to hurt Danique here. And I don't think, everything's out of the temple, so it's not even like you're hoping the Slan or Star Priest can do that extra wound.
No. I wonder if he cast Mystic or Arcane Bolt with the Slan.
No, he went for, it was Life Swarm, the heal spell, and then failed Comet's Call, so no Arcane Bolt.
I might have even went with that instead of the heal. Just if you're trying to get that last cheeky wound, or even just charging your Slan in and then getting that D3 Mortals.
Well, the problem is the Slan is behind the engine, and the engine is tagged on the other side by the Pustoil. So
this is the Lord of Afflictions that's like in front of the... So he could have definitely not charged him. Yeah, I guess he flies, but still not.
Could have garrisoned back into the temple. Oh no, it's broken. It's busted. Never mind.
Yeah, it's busted, yeah.
I was thinking he just jumped out on his own, but nope. It was crushed by his own Bastiladon.
Which is awesome.
So the Blight Lord, Single Blight Lord on the right side, has dealt 1 damage to the Bastiladon. Again,
this is just like a pillow fight now. That's what...
Yeah.
He's not going to be doing any damage. That's what the Bastiladon pretty much does. Awesome shooting, awesome that, and then you just charge it in, either to roar something or just like to hold something up for all of eternity.
Yeah, and it looks like now Mitch is preparing. He's going to be rolling a bunch of the dice for the Lord of Afflictions. He's doing the Lord of Afflictions. A bunch of their attacks are the same profile for Lord of Afflictions and the Pustoils.
Well, he's probably on a 3-up either way.
Yeah.
So
he's rolling a bunch of the attacks together. So we'll see how much damage he can do to that engine. Thing is, it's like, if he had of double tap, or could have, he wasn't able to even, could have double tapped the engine. Can't obviously use CP because of the Lord of Afflictions, but I think that, or like if he won turn 2 priority, even if the Skink Chief like somehow survived, but obviously tough spot here. But he's killed a ton of the bugs so far.
Yeah, he's definitely done a respectable job after that turn 1 alpha.
You wish. Yeah,
he won turn 2 cryo. That's just the biggest heartbreak.
Well, I think the most disappointing part, I'm sure, for Danique, because there's so many things you can't control, but the fact that he lost that 30 block to Skinks turn 1, that's gotta be, that was, I'm sure, a disappointing time with that huge 12-inch charge from the unit of 4 Pustoils.
Yeah. See, he could have put his screen right out 13 inches from the back, put those 30 skinks to the left of his temple, kind of where the engine was.
I agree.
Just wholly within 12, way back from your line. Yep. And then the Bastiladon and the Skink Chief over on the other side, like he had it. But again, that's a tough one, right?
Yeah, very tough.
So that could have definitely helped. You just need to keep those skinks safe. That's number one target to keep safe is those skinks, because there's a good chance that the other dinos aren't going to go down. But
Well, Michael Sabetti coming in with the super chat. Thanks, Mike. As you mentioned earlier, Ridge, shouting out the Alumnia Wardens. So Mike came to this GT as well.
yeah,
His first GT, I believe, in AOS, and went 4-1 with an Alumnia Lumineth list. So huge props to Mike. That was an awesome showing, especially for your first GT. And yeah, saying that the Wardens can put out a ton of damage and get really tanky with tech lists. 100% agree. Definitely a solid choice, and Alumnia really helps mitigate the weakness of Warden, which is always getting them in the right place at the right time.
yeah. So and Sabetti beat me, man. He beat me in the little local RTT we had
Nice.
with my Thunder Lizard list, and it's just so many damage one in mortals. I just bounced off of his wardens with the protection tech list, and he took me down. But yeah, man, that's huge. Going 4-1, first big tournament. Fucking right, dude. Awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you again, Mike, for the channel support. We super appreciate it. We are at the end of the round, rolling priority right now. The players have both rolled 5s. Mitch went first in the round, so he wins ties. It's going to be Nurgle turn 3.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, at this point, I think you have a good idea of what the players are probably going to talk about.
All right, so here, the players, it looks like, so the players are going to be playing this out towards the, to the end, because it is differential points here. So again, the final score is impactful. But with Mitch rolling priority, we're not going to, subject you guys to any more of this slog of a game, in the top right corner. So we'll be wrapping things up here shortly. But do want to let you guys know, so obviously here, round 3, Mitch is taking the turn. There's an objective being burned, but Mitch has control of everything, right? He's gonna, I don't think he even needs to do anything, and he's just gonna score on points, even without killing things.
Yes.
But in the end, this does end up an 18-point margin win for Mitch in victory points. So he wins by 18 points, which on the differential system that we used or was used here at Grand Clash, it made it a 19-1 game for Mitch. So not a full 20-0, but a very solid win for Mitch. Obviously a great win. Another solid showcase for the Pastoral Blightlords and why they can be so scary, especially in this kind of a build. But yeah, that's a rough game, obviously, for Denise. Again, that big turn 1 charge. But Ridge, any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
No more flies. No more flies.
Well, yeah, it was a big win here. Obviously, going the way of the Nurgles, and this is top table round 3. So end of day 1, Mitch was at the top of the charts, or near the top of the charts. I'm sure there were a couple people on 20-0 here. So, anyways, I think that's gonna be it for us here tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this match, and we'll see you soon in another battle report.
See you later, guys.